Keep me anonymous. I met Cynthia on my way to Oahu this year during the Easter holidays. Me and my friend Kelvin had recently graduated from the university, and this was a perfect excuse to chill after 4 years of stress. We were able to convince our parents and use my father's car for the trip. But it was a long one, so we decided to set off early as to beat the traffic and get there early. We unfortunately got stuck in traffic, and as a result, we had to lodge into a hotel because it was getting late, and we didn't like the idea of driving at night, especially when the rainy clouds started to form. On our way to the hotel, we saw a figure walking by the roadside. It was a lady drenched in the rain. I couldn't get a very good look at her, but she looked like she seriously needed our help. She was all alone, and the road ahead was dark with no streetlights. She was happy to see us. We offered her a lift to the nearest bus stop, but all she said was nothing. Kelvin was not in for the idea, judging from his expression, but I clearly didn't care because I couldn't leave her, and it wasn't safe for her to be there. I told her to sit in. At first she looked like she didn't understand, so I changed my dialect to Twi with my hand pointing to the back. She nodded her head with a smile, opened the back seat, and sat. The rain became terrible, so I suggested to her that she lodges with us for the night and goes back tomorrow. She just nodded in agreement. We lodged into the hotel, 2 rooms, one for her and one for us. I made sure she got into her room and she was comfortable before leaving her, but I took a good look at her before leaving. She was very beautiful, tall, light-skinned. The wet dress she wore revealed her shape, and damn, she had it all. The saw me stare at her before I left her to freshen up. I couldn't sleep well throughout the night. All I could think of is her. I walked to her door and knocked, hoping she would be awake and I wouldn't be bothering her sleep. She opened the door after knocking twice, looking at me with a sleepy face. She let me in and sat on the bed, gesturing me to sit. I immediately apologized for disturbing her sleep and began with my questions. She couldn't speak and understand when I spoke English, so I spoke to her in Twi. She told me her name and narrated how she was robed at gunpoint after getting into a taxi. Apparently, the driver made away with her bag and pushed her out of the car, but luckily he didn't hurt her. Funny thing is that she was also heading to Oahu. I told her she could join us tomorrow. The room became silent at one point, and she caught me staring at her again. She was in a bathrobe now, but you could still see her figure. She was really blessed both in the front and at the back. I couldn't help myself. I drew closer to her to kiss her, and she didn't stop me. When things were about to get heated, my phone rang, and it was Kelvin calling to ask me where I was. I told him I went out for fresh air, and I was okay, and he should not worry. I looked back at Cynthia, and she was already on the bed waiting for me. That night was something special. It was like we knew each other. She just understood me in every way possible. Everything was just perfect. I didn't want it to end. After we were done, I cuddled up with her, no clothes, and slept like a baby. I woke up to an empty bed. I looked around for any trace of her, but none. She wasn't in the room. I went straight to the receptionist, and I was told she was already gone and that they called my room, and my friend confirmed it, so they let her go. I was really sad because I didn't have her number and I didn't know how to reach her. I didn't even have her address. Until this day, I still think about her. I remember combing through the whole of Oahu just to find her. I hope she sees this story and knows that I am still thinking about her. She want her to know that I will be visiting Oahu this year, and I will be at the same hotel.